Today, guys, I'm going to introduce you to my absolute favorite food. I've made this probably 1,000 times, if not more. Sushi bowls. This episode's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I hope you stick around to watch the whole thing because this dish will become your favorite if you already love sushi. So guys, before we get into all the ingredients, where they go, how we prep them, you guys remember my wife, Rachel? She's back to help me prep up this meal because it can be done with one person, but I'm going a little bit more elaborate today, and I am making this for 5 people, so it's fun to have more ingredients, but this can be a very, very simple dish with, just rice, cucumber, avocado, green onions, and some sort of meat. Yam and the eggs, and the tobiko and the ginger. Those are all going to be extras for today. We're making it big and fancy, but it's actually very simple and perfect dish if you guys are sort of trying to cook something really fast on the fly, or you just want a simple, healthy dinner.
And we just finished working out, so this is a great sort of like refueling because we're going to be getting some carbs with the rice and then protein and lots of greens.
So much stuff. So like I said, traditionally, my brother and I, when we first started doing this, we just got tired of making sushi rolls. It was time consuming, and we always found that the seaweed was kind of rubbery by the time we finished making all the rolls. So we would take cucumbers, avocado, and green onions. Those were our 3 veggies. We would have 1 meat, usually tuna, and we just throw that on top of the rice. We would add obviously the soy sauce and the wasabi, but the big key thing that we're going to talk about today is the spicy mayonnaise recipe, if you don't have the spicy mayonnaise. So anyway, today we are going to go a little less traditional. We're still in the middle of the coronavirus lockdown, so we can't get everything and stock up our fridge today. So we're going with what we had. So yams, usually used in sushi, that's easy. I will take you guys through a quick cooking method for those. We got the cucumbers, the avocado, normal. I'm gonna try zucchini. I've never done it before, but if you dice them up, everything really fine, it seems to work and you don't really notice it. We're gonna go with some red peppers and some kale, which again, if you dice it up really fine, you don't really notice it. If you just sort of rip it off in a chunk like that, it's not very good in it. Salmon today for our protein. And we also have some ginger and some tobiko, some flying fish roe, which you can get at your local Japanese market.
One little tip, make sure that you get ginger without being sweetened with aspartame.
Yeah, it's a little hard to do sometimes, but definitely check out for that. Oh, and we're also going to do eggs very often. When you guys have sushi rolls, you'll notice there's a little bit of yellow egg in there, so we're going to go through that. Just some extra protein in there as well. So let's get started, guys.
One little thing. Usually use rice, but if you're weight cutting, because this is a go-to thing for your weight cut food too, you can do the grated fried up cauliflower. Yeah, which we're not going to do today because we just ran and we don't need to cut down on carbs. We need our carbs. All right, guys, now the first thing that I like to tell people, that a lot of people when they eat my food, they go, wow, you're such a great chef. And I go, I don't think I'm really a great chef. I think chef work involves more mixing ingredients. This is just more prep to me. That's what this dish is. You don't need to be a great chef, you're just prepping. So for the rice, I like to do, if I have 4 guests, I'll do 4 cups of rice. It might be a little bit excessive, but it's nice to have more than not enough. So we got 5 people tonight. I'm gonna do, well, let's say 4 cups of rice. And I always like to use Japanese rice. Why not? Make sure you rinse it off first. And I'd say that, if you're doing Japanese rice, make sure you actually look up on the internet the exact proportions. I do my own. I have my own sort of setup. It's just 1 1/8 of a cup of water to 1 cup of rice, but I guess it might depend if you're using a rice cooker or not. It's always best to start the rice first because it takes the longest, along with the yams. Plus, it's nice to let the rice cool down too. Sort of, if you're going for a warm bowl sort of style dish, then that's fine, but I'm going a little more sushi style, so I don't like this to be too warm. So you got to give it that time to cook and then flip the rice all around and make sure it cools down a bit. So for all the vegetables that you're just cutting up, like I said, a lot of this is just prep and it's just cutting. Anything like these, it's nice to have it really small, like almost under the size of a grain of rice for these. Same thing with the cucumbers. I like to go just teeny tiny, don't have big chunks. It's a lot nicer. Takes a little more time to prep,
But yeah, this won't be exciting, so we're gonna let my wife cut away while I prep all the other little things like the yams, get those all set to go in the oven. For the yams, I just like to cut them into maybe thirds, throw them in the oven for half an hour, and they're soft enough to then cut up into little bite-sized pieces. And this dish is really, really nice because if you're on a budget or you want to spend a little less money, you can just have yams and the eggs and just sort of get rid of the seafood. And it's still fantastic. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on tuna or salmon or shrimp. I have a spoon from you, and I'm gonna teach everybody quickly while you're chopping the spicy mayonnaise recipe.
Can I teach them the egg? Because I do a better egg.
Sure. So for the spicy mayonnaise, it's got a nice sesame oil. That's the part that goes a long way. All right, so most of this you can do to taste, but I like to just put in about a tablespoon of sesame oil. Got a teaspoon right now, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more here to even it out.
The sesame oil is key.
Yeah.
You can't really use like olive oil or canola oil. It won't give you the right flavor.
This guy here, we bought at a Japanese grocery store. It's just chili pepper, just little tiny chili peppers. It's got mandarin orange peel, black sesame in it. Yeah, this one I'm super generous with. I just lace it in. I usually shake about 20 times.
Or it's that one you have to be careful with, right?
Load up on that. And then this one, as opposed to flakes, is a paste. And this one, yes, you don't want quite as much. I just usually go for a little half teaspoon. Mix that all up. And the rice is on. The rice is ready. Calm down, rice, calm down. All right, yeah, so for the spicy mayonnaise, I just usually prep it up with those 3 ingredients on top of the mayonnaise.
You could potentially just chop up enough vegetables for like 2 or 3 days of this, and then just do the rice fresh every day.
Yeah, you could totally have a massive sort of prep section where you have this for the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that might not do very well is the rice. If you if you leave the rice, it's going to get a little bit hard and not too pleasant. So yeah, I would say the best thing to do with this, if you were going to prep, is just have all the veggies prepped, and you can do the yams and you can do the eggs. So aside from that, it's just basically you need your rice and you need your protein if you're going to throw one of those in.
And a fresh avocado.
Yeah, but avocados, actually, most people don't know that if you put it in a Tupperware with the pit, with the pit, it'll last a very, very long time. As opposed to if you take the pit out, you leave it for half an hour, it doesn't look very good. So yeah.
It oxidizes.
There you go. I'm just gonna kind of wing it for the sauce today. We're gonna do a little bit of soy sauce, a little sesame.
It's like that's the kale.
Tiny.
Tiny, tiny.
I'm gonna go a little bit of lemon.
How's our green onion in the greenhouse? It's not really big enough to harvest yet, is it?
And the one that might surprise you, a little bit of maple syrup. Maybe that sort of nice teriyaki sort of sweetness. Just drizzle it on there. And just rub it in. And then we'll let it bake. So while I continue cutting the cucumbers, Rach is going to make the eggs. It's very simple, but it's nice to know the little details that go into it. So you take it away, Rach. I usually find that two eggs is nice for 2 people, and you're just basically again doing to taste, but just a little bit of sugar, tiny little bit. Maybe that's too much. Yeah, that's good. And about the same for the salt. Just fill a little bit of the palm up, but the big key part. It's okay. It's a little more than I would have used, but the big key part that is again the sesame oil. A nice sesame oil. A nice sesame oil is going to bring out the flavor so much more. So that one there, you could probably put in just a little bit, and then again you can put it in the pan. That's good for cooking. And then it has that nice saltiness to it, but again with that little bit of sweetness from the sugar.
What's really important when you're doing this to actually aerate the eggs so that you get like fluffy eggs when you fry them.
All right, so we got the veggies all cut up. They're all set to go. We have our yams, we have our salmon, we have our egg, which when she flips it over, it should be super easy.
I like doing it in a crepe pan because then what you can do is fold it.
There we go, and now we can just cut that up. And once the yams are all cut and the salmon's ready to go, we're ready to build our bowl. All right, guys, we got our rice ready. We got our yams, eggs, salmon, all the vegetables. We have our spicy mayonnaise, and we're ready to build this bowl.
Do the honors.
So check it out. Alright guys, there you have it. That is my favorite dinner. I make it, how many times a week? So many times a week.
2-3 times a week.
It's mostly just prep, chop things up. Like Rach was saying before, if you want to get ahead of things, you can actually pre-prep all the vegetables so they're good to go in your fridge, and then you just have a small amount of work to do. Yeah, try them out. You'll love them. Train hard, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you guys back here soon for another video.